The following program is brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization.
Hi, I'm Carl Bradfield. Welcome to Not Too Much Comedy, the show that brings you a little laugh and a little exercise from a little man. But what I want to do now is an exercise that I call that is called Up Against the Wall. I don't call it that. That's the name of it. And what we've done in the past is a daily dozen exercises, and we've gone through all 12 exercises of the daily dozen from the defensive exercise series. But as you can see, my good friend and co-host Wilhelmina Ford is not here today because she's at Universal Studios on a very important film assignment for her. And it's a great opportunity for her to extend her career, and I pray for her and for her great success in this. I am, like I said, Carl Bradfield. I am a Christian combat veteran for Jesus. Wilhelmina has done quite a few commercials. We've been in at least one commercial together, separately. We didn't even know that, but separate scenes. But until later. But what I want to do now is go over some of the exercises. We have done the daily dozen. We're not going to continue with just the exercises for senior citizens. That's what this is for. But what we're going to do is use some of these exercises as an offensive effort. Now, the defense mainly is to get the people who would attack you off of you, using the exercise as a defense. But we exercise, do the exercises continuously every day. But if you have to use it as a defense, we're now going to know, you know that just getting somebody's hands off of you or away from you isn't going to stop them because they will come back at you. So what we're going to do now is one called that I was just doing, against the wall, okay? Up against the wall. What is it? Just what it sounds like, up against the wall. Now I'm going to step over here to the wall. Hello, wall, how you doing? Okay. Now what we're going to do is, show you, briefly, that exercise. This is for when you're up against the wall, you can't get away, you can't step back. The only thing you can do is go over the opponent and through him. All right? Now, with one hand or the other, remember the heel of the palm that you did with the exercise when you did the shoulder? Okay, now we're going to use this heel of the palm weapon to thrust out like the old football stiff arm. All right? And what we're going to do at the same time, if you use your right hand, your right heel of the palm, turn your right foot on the ball of your foot, the forward part, and thrust it out perpendicular in this way, all right? Now, you see me drawing my other hand back. That's a force of habit for the martial arts. But if you're up against the wall, you can't do that. Or if you're up against a car, you can't do that without banging your elbow. So what you want to try to learn to do then is put the hand across your own body, your lower part of the body, in this way. Okay, now that's one exercise. Let me show you again how to do it, and then I want you to practice it up against the wall. It's turning the foot, right hand, right foot, right hand, right hip, you want to right foot, right hip, right hand. All right, same as do the other side, left hand, left hip, left foot. And this is, of course, a coordinated attack. You want to put your whole body weight in it. That's the idea, is to put your whole body weight into this. When you do that, then you run. Because you assume that you have knocked the guy down, or the attacker down, we hope. But of course, there's much more to it. And you're learning to use one of the weapons that you did in the exercises. The next exercise, let's see, what is it? What do I want to show you next? Hold on for a second. Don't go away. I had this all planned. Yeah, the arm swings with the elbow. Okay. Now remember the arm swings. That's the first thing we did. First exercise, just to warm up with. Now we're going to apply it, okay, as a hammer fist. We're going to swing this, remember? We're going to swing this around, all right, coming around and using a hammer fist back into the opponent's temple area, face area. What does this do? All right, from here, just swing this hand around and continue it one full circle, like this, okay, and like this. Oh, wait a minute now. We can't stay flush with them. You want to stand and confront an opponent square like this. So when you do this, remember to step back and around continuously. All right? And we'll do the next one. You step back, arm swinging around, all the way around and come back. Now when you do this quickly, the hand that is punching you, or even grabbing you, or even grabbing for you, okay, will be knocked out of the way, we hope. Okay, so you wouldn't do it, you would do it quickly, and in reality, to practice it, you have to practice slowly. So here we go, one side, then you come around, hammer fist into the face area. And of course, you have to do the other side, okay, for the repetition to make it one. All right. The next exercise. Oh yeah. Okay. Shoulder to palm. I wanted to do that first anyway. Remember, we were doing this before the exercise, and then I showed you how to make the hammer fist. All right. So what we're going to do is step into the opponent. All right, with the hammer fist. Now, when you step into the opponent, you notice what I'm doing with this hand. Assuming that there's a hand, if there's a hand on you, there will be one hand. Is usually sometimes there's a punch coming with that. All right, a hand reaching out. If they grab with two hands, all the better. You can still swing up as you step in with the hammer fist to the face, again to the face area. All right. So what you're doing is this. All right, with the hammer fist. All right. Notice that, again, right foot. I use my right hand, I step in with my right foot. I use my other hand, all right, to sweep away, then step and hit. All right. Here again. I'm going to do the other side now. So we sweep away from the inside to the outside, all right? That is inside of your body. All right, inside of your body. The thumbs mark whether it's inside the body or outside your body. All right. Okay. When we do this quickly, in this fashion. All right. Do it quickly. That quick. All right. And you see, you have to do it fast because if you do it slow, you telegraph to the opponent what you're going to do. They expect you to resist in the first place. They do not expect you to step into them. They expect you to step away from them. That's the idea. They're trying to terrorize you before they hit you. But they are out to mug you. And what we're going to do is Do all three now. We're going to do the up against the wall. All right. The hammer fist. The palm, the heel of the palm. Okay. Here again. We're going to do the rotation, the arms down, but one hand down, all right, and stepping in with the hammer fist to the face, all right, stepping in, hammer fist to the face. Now we're going to do the other one, where we use this hand to wipe away, all right, and then hit. And then the other side, here and hit, all right. Okay, have you got that? Gonna make you a black belt. Okay, but I'm gonna sit down because I don't know what I'm doing. What I do know, I would like to explain too, as everybody knows, or they should know, that this is the week of the 70th anniversary of the Normandy invasion, D-Day. And what we're going to do is I want to offer a tribute to those people, those guys that landed on the D-Day beaches. We have, everyone should know that this Friday is June 6th, the 70th anniversary of the D-Day invasion, and Normandy, France. It's the greatest invasion, was the greatest invasion in history, which liberated Europe from the tyranny of the Nazis in 1944. I was just a baby then, and they never took infants in the infantry. Wonder why that is. Okay, well, anyway, are you in luck? Because I have a poem. I have 2 poems, but I'm going to dedicate this poem, and I just wrote it, so I have to read it. I haven't memorized it yet. But anyway, this is dedicated to the D-Day veterans of 1944. These are the guys who boarded the landing crafts, and it's called A Salute to D-Day Veterans. Lined up on a ship and seasick like the Dickens, we climb down the nets and into the Higgins. That's the boats. Hold on to your harness and watch your step, bunched up together in the raging depth. 6,000 yards and closing fast, no thoughts of home, that's now in the past. Heart pounding with fear, men squeezed in a pall, all not a face on board cracking a smile. Beaches ahead and incoming fire, machine guns and artillery heading the wire. Obstacles intact, ramp dropping down, some killed right out while others are drowned. Wading ashore at very low tide, and spreading ahead with no place to hide. The terror we felt while we rode in that night became a world of unbelievable sight. Bodies strewed around, the issue in doubt, but we scaled the walls and killed the crowd. So as it turned out for all to see, our sacrifice at Normandy made everybody free. And these are some of the photographs from the D-Day invasion. That's historical photographs. And these are the British. These are British Sword or Juno beaches, Gold, Sword, and Juno. I'm not sure which one this is, but as you can see, the British had a tremendous part in this liberation of the European continent. Okay, here are some of the obstacles that they had. These are all historical pictures. You've seen these photos before. Okay, and what there's Eisenhower with the 101st just before they boarded up later that night to go over. These are the guys waiting ashore off of that is a Higgins boat that they're getting off of. The 1st Infantry Division, of which I landed the same way in Vietnam off of a Higgins boat. Of course, we didn't land under fire, but that is the name of the boat. Mr. Higgins invented it, came up with it. I do have another. One, a poem that I just wrote, and these are for the paratroopers. We couldn't let the guys landing on the ship, off the ships, get by without mentioning that their gallant efforts on shore. But this one is called World War II Paratroopers. The C-47 was cramped and packed, sheer terror all over my face. I shivered and shook with each bump we took, worried about the fall into space. Then we crossed the Normandy coast and flew on for our 600-foot drop, where I tightened my gear amid all the fear and hoped we wouldn't even stop. I whispered to Jack, who stood in the back, to give me a push at the door, but the old sergeant, who was twice as large, said he'd do all of that and more. Then came the call to hit the silk, so I stood with trembling hands. They opened the hatch with that fearful command, and I prayed for a safe place to land. I stalled for a moment to give some room, but Jack shoved me just a little too soon. I knocked the whole squad down one at a time, just as the first guy went out. So they shoved me out with a boot and a shout, where I landed on top of a kraut. Okay. What I'm going to do, without Wilhelmina filling in for us, is basically talk a bit about the D-Day invasion. As I said, the 1st Infantry Division and the 29th Division. The 29th was a Maryland, Virginia division. The 29th Division is still there in Virginia and Maryland. And I'm from Baltimore, so I know a little bit about the 29th. But I was the 1st Infantry Division. They hit the beaches at Sicily. They were in North Africa first, and then they defeated Rommel and his helped to defeat Rommel and his crowd, along with the British, a strong British. They really defeated Rommel, good and plenty, because they were in the war for 2 years before we got into it. And from the African coast, they landed under Patton, General Patton, in Sicily, and fought across that island. And then they were the 1st Infantry Division, the big red one, was withdrawn to England to get ready for the build-up to the invasion at Normandy. So what we're going to do now is, I don't know what we're going to do. I'm going to show you some more exercises. All right, what we're going to do is show you some dances to go along with your practice of what we just did on exercise. First, what I'm going to do is show you the horse dance. And this is a horse dance is a practice stance, okay? And it's just what it sounds like, a horse stance. Stance, all right? From here, you would practice some of the things that you would do, okay? You practice some of those strikes, some of your blocks, all right? Some of your moves, okay? This is a stance that you could, it's like sitting in the saddle, knees bent, feet in the stirrup. When you want to make a move that is not a practice, do not ever try to do this in front of an opponent, okay? You get knocked flat, that's what you do. And I'm talking to the older people here because they're more vulnerable when you can do this, okay? Now what we're going to do is step forward with into a move that's called, we call this the forward stance in the Kempo karate organization. In a forward stance, then we'll turn our back foot straight with our knee bent, okay? Then we'll come around. A lot of styles call this a cat stance, all right? Then we'll call a crossover, which is a flexible T, as Ed Parker used to call it. Parker, okay, if you've never heard of Ed Parker, Ed Parker was the instructor to the Stars. He was out in Pasadena, California, and he had Elvis Presley was one of his students, along with a number of other well-known stars. Parker was also Elvis Presley's chief bodyguard at the moment when he passed away. All right. But what we want to do now is get into the horse stance, put our hands on our hips, because we're not going to use the hands now. I have to remember that myself. Okay, and we're going to practice a forward half stance, a forward bow, all right, a cat stance. Now, if you can do this at 70 or plus, you're okay. Okay, I can do it. I'm 72, and I can do it. Now, some people want to know, what do I do after I get away from this person? How do I stop this person from coming at me again? The idea is to make sure they do not come against you again. So what you need to do is hit the person so that they don't come at you again. Now that's hard to keep talking violent. I'm not talking violence. I'm talking about defending yourself against violence. All right. When you do a move like up against the wall, all right, you push them back, or you push his head back. You've got to do something that stops him from coming against you again. And one thing that would stop him would be to lift up that right, I use my right foot, lift this up and bring it down on his thigh, on his upper thigh, and straighten your leg out, which will straighten his leg out. It would probably hurt his knee, but that would definitely send him to the ground. Are you with me with that? Come on with me. Now I'm going to sit down. You can tell that. And I do want to cover what Wilhelmina would cover if she were here, which is a thought of the week, okay? Now, first of all, I want to declare that Jesus Christ, the same yesterday, today, and forever. If it wasn't for him, I would not be here from the slaughter fields of Vietnam. I know at least a half a dozen times I should have been killed, and I was, and give him the glory and thank him. One incident, if I may relate a Vietnam story, this is in 1966, 1st Infantry Division. I was a Blue Spader, 1st Battalion, 26th Infantry, part of the Big Red One. But we operated out of Phuc Vinh, in those jungles around the Iron Triangle, it was called. And one incident where we fought our way into a Viet Cong base camp and drove them out, but we didn't drive them out far. They were still around. We were collecting the bodies, the enemy dead, and came across the rice their food source. The Viet Cong's daily diet was a handful of rice, salt, and peanuts. That was every day. That was for their daily nourishment. But these were all stacked together in 100-pound sacks. And I was guarding those. I was sat down on the sack. And in front of me, now this is a jungle now. This is in the deep jungle. 5 guys were making a sweep. That's moving. 5 of our guys were making a sweep across my front, maybe about a stone's throw away, to for any of the enemy. They had, but they detonated against them a claymore mine. A claymore mine is a nasty weapon. It's like grape shot. It shoots out thousands of pellets. It's sort of like a grape shot. It killed those 5 blue spaders. It peppered the 100-pound sack that I was against. It peppered that with shrapnel, and it killed 2 guys behind me. So it killed 7 Americans in front of me, 2 Americans behind me, and the 100-pound sacks that I was against, I was setting the guarding, were all peppered all around me, but I was completely missed. And that, to me, is a miracle. But what we want to do is remember some things. The thought of the week is whatever you choose to do in life, do it with all your might and keep faith in God, who will help you along the way. All right? We want you to know that we care about this as senior citizens. We care about the veterans that have given so much. And we want you to basically keep smiling, exercise every day, eat the right foods to stay healthy. What are the right foods? Wilhelmina will explain that when she returns, but you pretty much know. Stay away from the cake. I had cake last night with a lot of icing at our pastor's birthday party in Lakeland. But also, we want to make sure that you have fun doing whatever it is that you're doing. And I do want to emphasize exercising. We did a little more defense that I intended to do, offensive movements as well. But they're all part of exercising, to do your daily dozen. We'll go over the daily dozen at another time, but we do want to move along with the self-defense, the defensive exercise part of this, and that is to defend yourself. So until our next show, I'm going to say aloha nui oe, God bless you, and keep your hand grenades tightened up. You see, we had this bum hand grenade. It fell apart every once in a while, and we had to tighten up the body to the fuse housing. So, Wilhelmina, we're looking for you next week. Y'all take care, and
This program was brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization, setting the standard for new media broadcasting.